Welcome to episode 53 of Let's Play Civilization 3 Play the World. As you remember, on our very last episode, the Mongols, our longtime friend and allies, have backstabbed us. They have gone back on their alliance and declared war on us. Well, I promised that revenge will be coming, and come it shall. First thing we have to do, though, is prepare our border cities on the border with the Mongols. So to that end, I am upgrading and drafting soldiers, just in case they have more troops near the border than I think they might. I also reduce scientific funding. As much as I want fusion, I would rather reduce the money so as to help build alliances. Alright, so just moving around looking at everyone I have, because you know we haven't been fighting the Mongols, so attack can come from any side. So now one thing I do, well, also keep in mind the only place they were getting rubber was from me, so whatever tanks they might have, whatever infantry they might have, that's all they'll ever have, because now that they're fighting me, they're not going to get that anymore. So I go to the foreign advisor, because I want to check to see if there's any mutual protection pacts, and it turns out there aren't. Everyone is still at war with the Celts except for the Mongols and the Germans, and there is a mutual protection pact between the Koreans and the Arabs. So what I decided to do, the first way I'm going to get revenge against the Mongols is to make them a social pariah. I am going to set every other nation on the world, except for the Celts, of course, against them. I'm going to get all my friends, buddies, and acquaintances to declare war on them. So, first I will start with the Chinese. They've been helpful so far. It's like, hey, why don't you join us against the Mongols? Of course, I'm going to have to do a little cajoling here. Cajoling, I guess. But I do get them to attack. Yeah, a war against the Celts would have been interesting enough, but this just makes it even more interesting, because now I have to divert my forces into fighting two conflicts at once. And I have to strike a balance between how many forces I send to fight each country, all the while making sure that my allies are still fighting the right people. So it's going to be a pretty interesting war here. Alright, so next I talk to the Koreans and have them declare war on the Mongols as well. And it doesn't take too much controlling. I do have to pay out a fair bit of gold at some point, but you know what? I think it's worth it. As long as the world is divided in on itself, it won't see me coming when I eventually attack them. Because hopefully I'll get around to attacking everyone. Just don't tell them that. Alright. Have the Germans declare war on them. I decided to give them a little bit of technology to entice them, because they are behind, but not by a whole lot. They're almost into the age where they can have airplanes and they can have motorized transportation. So I hope the Germans are smart enough to send boats across going west to get to the Mongols, because if they send land troops going east, it would take forever to get there. And finally I talked to the Arabs. Want them on board too. I don't think it will take too much of an incentive to get them on board with this war. You know, in all this time the Mongols have only ever fought the Celts and the Germans. They've never had a war with anyone else. But now that they want to fight me, they're going to get themselves way in over their heads. Alright, get these two workers out of the way so they don't get captured. Okay. Get these workers out of the way so they don't get captured. And we're going to take that city right there. If you're like me, you've always thought that city was a sore thumb sticking out into our territory. Well, now it's finally going to become one of ours. Take our first tank in there, shoot at him. Alright, one rifleman down. They don't even have infantry in that city. They never bothered connecting it up to any roads or anything. It was a complete waste for them. But you know what? Since they only have riflemen, I might as well use some cavalry on them. I mean, I still have a lot of them. They're not going to have much of a use later, so even if I lose some now, it's not a big deal. So, get rid of one guy, but there's more. So I find cavalry in other cities, send him there, and have him attack. Alright, maybe it wasn't the best idea because I am losing these guys, but then again, it doesn't matter too much. Alright, now send in, let's see, send in another cavalry here. It's also because I feel bad disbanding any military unit. I'd rather just have them in on the fighting. I actually thought of a pretty interesting idea. What if they had the cavalry upgrade to modern armor? Because think about it. Cavalry move 3, modern armor move 3. There's not, when you have the tanks, you might still want something that moves faster, but as soon as you have modern armor, cavalry are completely outdated. So, just a thought, I guess. You can actually do that in the scenario editor, which I'll have to do sometime. Show you sometime, I mean. Well, that rifleman destroys a tank, which isn't the most likely thing to happen, but it does happen once in a while. You'll get an obsolete unit destroying a modern unit. But I eventually overcome this city, and finally, the city is ours. How do you like that, Mongols? This is only a taste of what you're going to get for going back against us. Yes, sir, we do not tolerate treason. So now that that's done, I'm going to take these workers, move them to this spot, and build a road into the city, something the Mongols have failed to do for eons. We're going to do in one turn. Alright, so anyway, remember we sent these troops up here to attack the Celts before the whole Mongol thing started, and I see no reason to change the plans now. The city they're attacking was once Mongol, now Celtic, and will soon be ours. So we send in our tank, kill that guy, attack another guy, and lo and behold, only 2 guys were there. Way too easy. Well, the city is now ours, and it leaves us with plenty of liberty to launch new attacks on new cities, both Celtic and Mongol. Alright, get rid of some riffraff up there. Well, reaching the end of this video, and I think this is the first video that we've actually not even done one complete turn. If you look at the year at the beginning and the year at the end, they are the same. But that's okay. We had a lot going on. We had to deal with the Mongols declaring war on us. So, on that note, I hope I'll see you next time in episode 54.